18.3% from the previous week. Canola exports are up 42.4% at about 298,000 tons. And at more than 211,000 tons, domestic usage is down nearly 14%. At 11 a.m. Central today, the United States Department of Agriculture will release its monthly supply and demand estimates. While the April report is not expected to have much impact on the markets, the trade will be watching for changes to export and ending stock data for corn and soybeans. Trade predictions call for a 7% drop in corn ending stocks, bringing them to just under 1.4 billion bushels. Soybean ending stocks are expected to budge very little from last month's 119 million bushels. Wheat ending stocks are to hold at 847 million bushels. Rounding off prices at the Chicago Board of Trade, soybean futures are relatively steady on Friday morning. The May soybean contract is up a quarter cent at $14.15.5 per bushel. May soy oil is up more than 4/10 of a cent at 53.82 U.S. cents per pound. May soy meal is down 30 cents at 406.50 per hundredweight. Corn futures are slightly higher on Friday morning, with the May contract up 2 cents at 5.82 per bushel. Chicago oats are up a pinch, with the May contract gaining a quarter cent at 3.77 per bushel. Wheat futures are higher on Friday morning. Chicago May is up 7 cents at 6.36. Kansas City May is up 8 cents at 5.84, and Minneapolis May is up 7 cents at 6.47. That's a look at the ICE futures and the Chicago markets for Friday morning, April 9th. For Markets Farm in Winnipeg, I'm Glenn Halleck.
If you need a tractor that's small but mighty, Butler Farm Equipment in Fort St. John has just the tickets. The Workmaster 25S subcompact tractor from New Holland. With 25 horsepower, a 3-point hitch, rear PTO, and mid PTO, it handles chores a garden tractor just can't. Plus, this economical tractor gives you deluxe comfort and simple 2-pedal operation that makes it easy to mow, load, dig, grade, and more. Stop by Butler Farm Equipment in Fort St. John today to learn more about the Workmaster 25S.
The opinions expressed during this show do not represent those of this station. If you've missed any of this show, you can follow the podcast at Energeticcity.ca. Now, an in-depth look at the news and information shaping our community. This is Moose Talks with your host, Doug Craig, on Moose FM.
Good morning. Welcome to another episode of the show. A little later on, we'll be joined by Fort St. John Mayor Lori Ackerman to talk things city and city council, including some agenda items coming up on Monday and some things that are happening and have happened recently. So more on that in about 10 or 15 minutes or so. But first, a local man moved to Vancouver chasing his dream, and he's certainly started to live that dream a little bit. His name is Mason Temple, and he's on a new show on Netflix called Ginny Georgia. He joins me now from Vancouver. Mason, how you doing this morning, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. So why don't we start at the beginning, as it were. You were doing theater kind of long before you got this kind of break, if we can call it that, in high school and earlier, right?
Yeah. Pretty much, I remember doing my first play with Stage North, or at least, I don't know, my first big play. I think I may have done a couple like school plays in elementary that I don't remember. I remember doing a Christmas story with Stage North when I was in grade 7, and that was kind of the start of it all. So.
Okay, and then did you I assume acted kind of throughout high school? Did you do plays at school and with Stage North, or?
Yeah, yeah. So I did plays with Dr. Kearney's musical theater program after that, and plays with Stage North. By the time I got to the high school, I was doing plays with the high school musical theater program, but me and a bunch of friends, we started our own theater company called Spectacular Chair Factory. Caused a lot of ruckus with that company. It's pretty neat. Probably the crown jewel of my time in Fort St. John in regards to acting was this play that we did called Hallways. A bunch of us, came together and wrote this satire about what it's like to go to North Peace. And that that was a cursed production, let's just say, but it's certainly something I look back fondly. Honestly, I tell people about that, from the city, and they're like, "That sounds like some real cowboy stuff," you know.
Do you remember
So,
when it was when you decided, I think I'd like to do this for a living. I'd like to take a shot at this and make it my profession.
I mean, when I was a baby, like, I modeled in Taiwan just for like baby clothes and did like commercials and stuff. I very vividly remembered that coming to Canada. Um, like my mom was a model. My dad, he did commercials and stuff in Taiwan as well. And I don't know, it's kind of always been there. It just took that first play for me to go, yep, I'd rather do that for the rest of my life.
So you finish high school, you've got all this theater work already under your belt with Stage North, as you said, your own theater company in school. What was next for you? What was kind of the thing you knew you had to do next to kind of start to make it happen?
Um, well, when I did a lot of those plays with my company, the Spectacular Chair Factory, we did a lot of festivals, and we were exposed to a lot of the professionals in the industry, and I pretty much just asked them, like what is the next step for someone, especially if you grow up in like a semi-rural city, where do you go from here? And they all pointed me to Vancouver or Toronto or Edmonton or wherever. Go to an acting school, get trained, and then try it out in the real world. So I figured, okay, the school that everyone was recommending me to go to was Studio 58 in Vancouver. Vancouver's always been a destination I thought of landing after high school, so that's what I did, and here I am.
Were you thinking you'd just kind of stick to theater, or was kind of movies, television?
No. uh, I I have the mindset, and this isn't necessarily the correct answer for any aspiring actor, but I think it's I think it's the best answer though, because beggars can't be choosers, you know what I mean? And there are a ton of actors that are all waiting for their shot. You might as well just diversify your skills and do whatever you can until something sticks. And I mean, I love theater. Like I seriously love theater, but the opportunities I was getting in theater just weren't paying the bills. So as I said in the Alaska Highway interview, I took a leap of faith and just started saying no to those jobs. Gave my manager some time to pitch me out there, and well, it worked out.
So before Ginny and Georgia comes along, what kind of work were you getting? Were you doing commercials or kind of little spots here and this, or was this really the first kind of big TV kind of film work you got to do?
I gotta be honest, I couldn't book anything to save my life in regards to film and TV. Couldn't book a commercial. I mean, I'm biracial, so I don't really fit visually in any standard categories. Things have changed, and things are starting to change, especially since the summer of 2020. But I'll tell you, beforehand, being half Asian, that's you're just this weird thing that casting directors they try to pair me with full Asian families, and well, that doesn't look right. And well, of course, it doesn't look right. I'm not full Asian, so that never really worked out. And well, I find most actors in Vancouver, you do this guest star circuit on all these CW shows or Hallmark or whatever. But I mean, you look at my face, I don't really fit in a Hallmark movie, if you know what I mean. This was really just, I describe it was like La La Land, like that movie, where it was just out of nowhere, this giant opportunity. I mean, it was just a thing of being in the right place at the right time with the right skills. So,
yeah, you called it a giant opportunity. Did you know at the time that it was, or was it something your representation handed to you and said, "Just go on this audition"? Something might come of it. I'm not sure.
I've gotten to audition for fairly big stuff before that, and definitely after now. But in my head, it was like, okay, there's this Netflix show. I got, it's another thing looking for a guy of Asian descent. It's a long shot, but whatever. Um, I never expected it to have the reach that it has. Like we ended up breaking Forbes reported that we ended up breaking a Netflix record for longest in the top 10 in the world in the number
Wow.
one spot. Yeah, we passed Tiger King, and I can't believe that, because Tiger King, that's a moment in history, like when there was nothing else on and everyone was terrified because it was the start of a global pandemic that hopefully won't happen for at least another 100 years, and then like our show passed it, which is insane. Past Queen's Gambit, past Bridgerton, Umbrella Academy. I can't believe that. So
Wow.
didn't expect that.
For those who don't know about the show, can you kind of briefly tell us a bit about what the show's about and what your role is on it?
I'm actually terrible at answering this question. I gotta prep a better answer for this. The show was marketed as, oh, it's Gilmore Girls, but with a darker twist, and it's not at all like Gilmore Girls. Like I've seen Gilmore Girls now, and it's like, this is sure there's a mother and daughter, but that's about it. It's a really it's a reflection of just what it's like to grow up. It's multiple stories in one TV show. I like, my part is I'm part of this love triangle with the lead character Ginny. I won't say any more than that to not spoil anything.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it's there's a lot going on in the show. I'm not really good at at pinpointing just like a log line, to be completely honest, other than a mother and daughter have to move to a New England town and get a new start.
So, again, without spoiling, I wouldn't want you to do that. How much of your life in Fort St. John would you say? Because I think you said earlier, you came here fairly young and then you left after high school. How much of your life growing up here did you find you were drawing on to inform your performance, even in kind of day-to-day stuff you had to do, depending on what was happening in the show?
I mean, there's a little bit here and there. Like the character of Hunter, he's of the affluent class in that community, and I certainly was not in Fort St. John, But I mean, he's also a pretty dramatic, big gesture boyfriend. You know what I mean? And I feel like people might describe me as big gestured. Certainly some folks. So there's a little bit of that. For example, like at one point there's this tap dance scene, and I won't get further into that, but that originally was not in the script. I actually brought it up as a joke to the creator, that I can tap dance, and that's something I learned how to do in Fort St. John. Shout out to Emery Micah. I think she's teaching the high school theater program right now. She taught me tap originally, and then Amy Beard, and that's like come up over and over again in my life. Just like every 3 years I'll have to tap dance or something. So then they ended up writing that into the show, which was a bit of a surprise for me. But I mean, that's something from Fort St. John that I got to use that I never thought I'd ever use in my life, but I ended up using that in my first big thing. So
Wonderful. Yeah. You touched on the reception the show's had so far, as you said. I mean, been in the top 10 longer than any other show at this point. For you, what's the reception been like? Have people been maybe noticing you or contacting you and say, hey, I saw you on that show, it was awesome, or what's that been like for you?
Yeah, so let me tell you, to be, I hate the word celebrity and hate the word famous, but I think it's pretty hard to deny now. I remember like maybe 24 hours after the show had dropped, I already had 1,000 DMs on Instagram, and it ranged everywhere from I want to break your legs and kill you with your tap shoes to please impregnate me with 3 children. I'm from Brazil. You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
Absolute crazy, every end of the spectrum. I mean, all of it. Like, my parents told me, don't let it get to your head. I'm like, I don't know how I can let this get to my head. All of it is very overwhelming and a little terrifying. Like, luckily the show, it's like, the show's fairly popular in Canada, but it's like something else in Brazil and a lot of South America.
Wow.
So I feel like I can't really step into South America without like a face mask or something. I was just like swamped with things like, I'm from Brazil off the top of this thing. And it was freaky, you know, like, but I mean, like everything from every part of the spectrum. I'm getting bullied by like Gen Z kids because they think the character is like the patron saint of cringe. And then you got like millennials and like Gen X moms who are just like in love with me. It's weird. Like it's just super weird.
I bet. We only got about a minute left here, Mason, so I just want to quickly ask, what's next for you then? I believe there may be a second season of this show coming. Is that correct?
We have no idea still.
Oh, okay.
No idea, and I will find out as soon as everyone else finds out. That's sort of the, you know, I won't find out what my contract is or if I'm involved in it, but I would imagine so. But I really have no idea what's for me next. The pandemic really screwed everything up.
Yeah.
Luckily, the show has come out finally, so I've got a lot of momentum. I'm doing auditions, but so far nothing to announce. So we'll see. Hopefully that changes within the coming weeks.
Excellent, Mason. Well, I look forward to catching up with you again on this to see whatever happens to be next. I'm grateful you took the time to chat with us today.
Yeah, no problem.
Excellent. It's Mason Temple, an actor on the show Ginny Georgia. You can watch it on Netflix right now. We'll be right back to chat with the Mayor of Fort St. John, Lori Ackerman, right after this on Moose Talks.
Nothing worse than hearing part of a conversation.
I said, let's put the project on.
If the cell service at camp or in the field sounds like an old movie that cuts in and out, then Petron can clear it up today. With a cell booster, your calls will be clear of...
Pardon? What did you say? Huh?
And...
Can you hear me now?
A booster in your facility will give you a clear, concise conversation that can't be misinterpreted. Call today and we'll clear up your call right away. Petron Communications, a clear choice for the North since 1978.
You know the greatest thing about living and working in 500 square feet? 1 second you're in the kitchen, you turn around, bam, living room. It's great that there's zero separation between my home and work life. Isn't that great? It's so great.
The last year's been really complicated, but the experts at H&R Block can make your taxes simple. H&R Block. Get what's yours.
Call your local experts today, 250-785-7549, located on 101st Street and 99th Avenue.
The washer's $9.99 at the guys in orange, and at the guys in blue, at the guys in red, and it's $9.99 at City Furniture.
Everyone has a price guarantee, but at City Furniture, you get the same low prices as the box store, plus the superior service of a local independent. And in the rare case there's a problem with the product, you don't deal with someone hiding behind a 1-800 number. You have real people here who can help. See why the City Furniture model has succeeded for 40 years and continues to grow.
The North Peace Leisure Pool has a variety of activities and programs happening throughout the year. This month, there's plenty happening at the pool for the whole family. Here's what's coming up.
Staff at the North Peace Leisure Pool reminds you that spectators are not allowed during lessons. Parents are encouraged to participate in the water with their children during household private swimming lessons.
For the full schedule of programs and activities at the North Peace Leisure Pool, visit the city's website at fortstjohn.ca.
So the pandemic has made you realize that you need a new home. Now you hear about production delays, supplier shortages, out of stock. Will it ever end? Well, yes! Jandel Homes has you covered with 27 heated show homes ready to view. Come find your perfect match. We have homes ready for immediate delivery, and we're still taking custom orders. But don't delay, because once they're gone, well, I guess we'll also be out of stock. But not quite yet. Come get your new Jandel home today.
Vehicles are a lot like people. Sure, they look nice, all shined up, but when you add a few accessories here and there, dynamite! At Graphic Signs and Auto Designs, they've got all the accessories your vehicle could ever need. We're talking everything from lights to mud flaps to floor mats, even backup alarms or deer alarms for your fleet vehicle. Give your vehicle that little extra something with Graphic Signs and Auto Designs. Now in their new location on Alaska Road, check out GraphicSignsFSJ.com.
Watch this show live on Facebook or download the podcast at Energeticcity.ca.
Welcome back to Moose Talks. I'm Dub Craig. Now to talk all things city and whatnot with the, and city council, I should say. We're here joined now by the mayor of Fort St. John, Lori Ackerman. Mayor Ackerman, thank you so much for joining us on Moose Talks once again.
Good morning, Dub.
All right. I wanted to start with a few agenda items that are coming up on the council meeting on Monday. Just kind of a chat about what we can kind of expect before debate actually happens with council. So first of all, there's apparently, I guess city staff is recommending that council endorse a grant application for federal funding to address rising homelessness and other community impacts due to COVID-19. Without knowing the outcome of that debate, obviously, and what you guys will do, I mean, do you think this is an important thing for the city, or how important do you think it is to help out businesses, local businesses that are struggling right now?
Okay, so that's not a business grant. And what I'm just trying to grab here is, so we went through many years of speaking to our nonprofit organizations, different organizations, for-profit, business associations, etc. And last September, you'll recall that we did the Energizing Our Future, right? Mm-hmm. The Energizing Our Future is the social and economic development framework for Fort St. John. And what this is suggesting is, because there's money available, we'll take advantage of that money and start to drive forward a conversation with our First Nations neighbors and Aboriginal agencies in the community to deal with the first 4 action items on this list. And so that's inclusion and belonging, individual and family well-being and wellness, vulnerable people, services for vulnerable people and families, and public and government services. And so we'll be, of course, working collaboratively with the agencies that provide these services, and all of that information is available. The document itself is on our website, and so if anyone wants a copy of this document to take a look at those, they're more than welcome to email me, and I can fire it off to them. If they can't find it, just go under Council, and then you'll see our document library there. So that's what we're looking at applying for sorry, laryngitis, not COVID. So that's what we're looking for there.
Okay. You think it's not an insignificant amount of money? I mean, it sounds like it'd be a lot to help a lot of people. What kind of measurable impact do you think it would have on our population of vulnerable people like, homeless people in Fort St. John?
Sure, and it's not, and I agree. There's, the homeless count has gone up. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of vulnerable people here that don't realize they're vulnerable either, because mental health is an unseen, and a lot of our government, our government and public services, is just not adequate. And we've seen a lot of pressure on our entire healthcare system as a result of COVID and what's going on. And so I think this is a fabulous opportunity to take this document, those funds, and try and create that framework for our vulnerable people to support them. And I can tell you that we have some really good people in our community that do this day in and day out, and bringing them together and providing that support in that arena for them to create something for our community, I think would be significant.
Okay. Another item on the agenda that we found interesting is MP Bob Zimmer has asked Council to pass a motion in support of a national 3-digit suicide hotline. Now, as I understand, the original motion in the House did pass unanimously some months ago. I mean, what do you think? How important is something like that to our community, to the province, to the country, especially as we're just talking about suicide rates and vulnerable people and mental health issues really coming to the fore?
So I think that this is extremely important, and I'll tell you why. People remember 911. A lot of people aren't aware that there's also 311 to contact the city. There's 211 for assistance for for vulnerable people through, and I believe that's through the United Way. I don't recall. I remember first hearing it through United Way. 811 for healthcare, right? When people are stressed in situations, give them a 3-digit number to call. And so suicide rates have gone up, and it's important that we provide this service to our vulnerable people. It's as simple as that. It's significant when something like that happens. So yeah, I think that if we can get it nationally, it would be a good thing.
Okay. I want to quickly talk about the by-election. The candidate nomination deadline is today, this afternoon at 4, I believe.
Yeah, 4 o'clock.
I mean, is this something exciting for you? Because essentially you're going to see us elect your next colleague on council. Do you find this fascinating to see who that might end up being?
I'm always fascinated because, and I used to do a lot of training in team development and team building, and whether it's a new agenda item or whether it's a new member on the team, there's always, the dynamics that happen, and so it'll be interesting to see how it comes about. I know that we've got some great names that have decided to step up, and I'm looking forward to seeing what their hopes and dreams are for the community. I know that there's some people that have reached out to me and said, a lot of what they're talking about is provincial issues or federal issues, and yes, they are, and we can advocate for them maybe once a year, but that doesn't mean that they aren't important to the community. It's interesting when people come on to council and reality hits, and they can't fix what they want unless they can convince a senior level of government to take that bull by the horns.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask you about one other thing. I mean, you just mentioned kind of provincial issues. The PHO ordered restaurants close to dining late last month in order to help stem the spread of COVID-19 in theory. What have you been hearing about this from local restaurateurs? Is it frustration? Is it understanding?
It's challenging. It's like they've been kicked in the shins a couple times now before the bruises even healed from the last time. It's especially challenging for our local restaurants that don't have the outdoor patios, and it's for that reason that we have ramped up the temporary outdoor patio program, and we're really happy to be able to do that. And it's staff are able to do this through the Mayor's Standing Committee on Economic Recovery. So supporting that that outdoor patio program, also collaborating with the Chamber of Commerce and I think even Moose FM and Bell Radio were a part of it with Takeout Fort St. John or takeoutfsj.com, takeoutfsj.com. So if people want to go on there and take a look at that website, the city, through the Standing Committee on Economic Recovery, was very pleased to be able to be a part of that and support that as well. It's I think when you talk to the business owners, they understand, but it's just challenging and so frustrating. And so we're doing everything that we can, working with our local business associations and agencies, and to manage this with them.
Okay. Well, Mayor Ackerman, I appreciate you making time for us today, especially since you're battling laryngitis. Thank you so much again for joining us.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Take care. Have a good weekend.
You too, Mayor Ackerman. That's Mayor Lori Ackerman, the mayor of Fort St. John. We'll be right back to wrap things up on Moose Talks right after this.
Big money, big money!
The Neat Bingo Extravaganza is on Tuesday, April 13th at 7 p.m. On the orange card, you could win up to $500 with one line, $800 with two lines, $1,000 with the large square, and the blackout jackpot of $1,500. Bingo cards are $5 each and available at these fine retailers: the Fireweed Market in the former System by Trail building, Gateway Esso, the Taylor and Liquor Store, Ready Mart next to Q-Spot, and Neat.ca. The Neat Bingo Extravaganza, Tuesday, April 13th at 7 p.m.
BC Gaming Event License number 126599. Know your limit, play within it. 18 plus. Please note that bingo is only available on Facebook at Moose FM and at Energetic City.
If you're looking for hassle-free internet services, call the Peace Region Internet Society today. With coverage throughout most of the Peace, PRIS can get you connected quickly without the hassle of contracts or bundles. Visit PRIS.ca or call 1-800-768-3311 for more information.
Our community first. This is Moose Talks with Dub Craig on Moose FM.
Our thanks again to our guests, Mason Temple and Mayor Lori Ackerman, for joining us today. As the mayor mentioned, if you're looking to eat takeout tonight or any night and you want to support local restaurants, and who doesn't, make sure you check out takeoutfsj.com. It's your source for info about local restaurants, including their menus and contact information, so that you can take out from them. So check out takeoutfsj.com for dinner tonight and help support local restaurants. Takeoutfsj.com was created with support from the City of Fort St. John and the Mayor's Standing Committee on Community Economic Recovery. Well, that does it for this episode of Moose Talks. It's produced by Trey Lopashinsky and Adam Rayburn. I'm Dub Craig. Be well.
Join us next Friday at 10 a.m. for another episode of Moose Talks, a weekly talk show about Fort St. John and the North Peace.
Energetic Country.